Benefits of cheese for seniors. Imagine opening your kitchen door and, with a simple touch of a small piece of cheese, finding strength you thought was lost. Imagine a humble food capable of giving you stronger bones, more resilient muscles, sharper memory, and moments of pleasure that warm the soul. Cheese, a food as ancient as civilization, can be a quiet piece in the health routine of those over 60. Cheese can be the difference between stumbling and rising again, between losing strength and reclaiming it, between feeling isolated and rediscovering the pleasure of sharing a meal. If you think cheese is just about taste, wait until you discover what it can do for your body and life after 60. In this journey, we will explore, with care and affection, science, practice, and poetry. Each minute dedicated to understanding how cheese can nourish the body, protect the mind, and feed the soul. By the end, you'll have practical information, simple recipes, and safe recommendations to include cheese in your routine wisely. If this content makes sense to you, subscribe now and stay tuned until the end. There are practical tips that can transform your daily life. Block 1. Nutritional overview of cheese. Cheese is not a single food, it is an entire family. There are fresh, semi-cured, cured, fermented, full-fat, and low-fat cheeses. But overall, the cheese family offers 3 fundamental nutritional treasures: high-quality protein, bioavailable calcium, and fat that carries fat-soluble vitamins. Proteins. The milk proteins transformed in cheese retain a complete amino acid profile. For seniors, this means support for maintenance and repair of muscle mass, vital for mobility, balance, and autonomy. Calcium. The calcium in cheese is highly bioavailable, especially in fermented and cured cheeses. As we age, calcium absorption may decrease. Here, cheese acts as a practical ally on your plate. Vitamins and minerals. B-complex vitamins, including B12, phosphorus, zinc, and small amounts of vitamin A, accompany many cheeses, contributing to metabolism, neurological health, and immunity. Not all fats are enemies. The fats in cheese help in the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins and provide energy. Choosing the right type of cheese and portion is crucial to balance cardiovascular risks. Think of cheese as a small portable warehouse of nutrients, ready to be chosen with awareness and affection every day. But how do these nutrients translate into real benefits for bones and muscles? Let's find out now. Block 2. Calcium, bones, and fracture prevention. Bone loss is one of the major concerns after 60. Each bite of cheese can be a micro-investment in your bone health. How cheese helps. Calcium is essential, but it doesn't act alone. Cheese provides calcium, along with protein, phosphorus, and in many cases, vitamin D, or facilitates its function when combined with sun exposure. This combination enhances bone mineralization and reduces the risk of progressive osteoporosis. Practical evidence. Studies show that diets with adequate dairy intake are associated with less bone loss in seniors. Cured cheeses, due to their concentration, deliver calcium in smaller portions, making everyday inclusion easier. Recommendations. Moderate portions, such as a slice of cured cheese or a serving of fresh cheese accompanying a vegetable-rich meal, can be smart choices. Consult your doctor about vitamin D supplementation when necessary. Mrs. Maria, who for years avoided walking for fear of breaking a bone, gradually, with guidance and small dietary changes, including the return of a white cheese for breakfast, she began walking in the garden with her grandchildren. It's not a miracle, it's consistent care. And the muscles? Cheese can be an ally in maintaining strength. We explain how in the next block. Block 3. Protein, sarcopenia, and mobility. Sarcopenia, the loss of muscle mass and strength with age, is a primary cause of loss of independence. Protein is the most direct line of defense, and cheese, a practical source. Protein quality. Milk protein contains all essential amino acids, including leucine, crucial for activating muscle protein synthesis. Small portions of cheese throughout the day can improve protein balance. Protein distribution. Seniors benefit from spreading protein intake across several meals. A portion of cheese per meal, breakfast, snack, dinner, helps maintain this pattern. Combination with exercise. Protein does much more when combined with resistance exercise. Suggest walks with light resistance, exercises with bands, or stair climbing. Paired with cheese protein post-exercise, there's greater functional gain. Daily practice. A simple option is adding cheese cubes to a salad plate or a piece of cheese with fruit in the afternoon snack. Small actions that, combined, preserve autonomy. Fermented cheese and gut health. Is there a connection? Let's find out next. Block 4. Fermented, probiotics, and the gut in old age. The microbiome changes with age. Slower digestion, medication use, and dietary deficits can affect gut flora. Some cheeses, especially fermented ones, bring live cultures that favor microbial balance. Cheeses with active cultures. Yogurt and some fresh or matured cheeses contain beneficial bacteria that can aid digestion and immune function. Not all cheese has these active cultures. Check the type and processing. Associated benefits. Better lactose digestion in partial intolerance, greater resistance to intestinal infections, and modulation of systemic inflammation are possibilities supported by studies on fermented foods. Cautions. In immunocompromised seniors, caution. Raw or poorly matured cheeses may pose a risk. Follow medical advice and prefer pasteurized products where immune fragility is suspected. Think of the gut as a garden. Well-chosen fermented cheeses are the fertilizer that cultivates what is good. What about the heart? Is cheese a friend or foe? Let's demystify this now. Block 5. Fats, cholesterol, and cardiovascular health. The topic of fats always raises concern, especially for those with a cardiac history. Not all cheese needs to be avoided, but moderation and choice make all the difference. Saturated fats and lipid profile. Some cheeses contain saturated fats that can increase LDL in excess. However, the impact depends on the total diet, physical activity, and genetic predisposition. Practical strategies. Opt for lower fat cheeses. Prefer controlled portions, and combine cheese with fiber-rich foods, vegetables, whole grains, to help balance. Replacing ultra-processed snacks with a moderate portion of cheese can surprisingly improve the dietary profile. Counterbalancing. Benefits. Cheese is a source of calcium and protein. These qualities can reduce the consumption of simple sugars and ultra-processed foods when used as a snack alternative, bringing indirect benefits to the heart. Medical recommendations. People with high cholesterol should talk to their cardiologist or nutritionist about appropriate types and portions. If this content is helping, comment below on which cheese you would like to include in your routine. Let's talk about safe and tasty options. Can cheese aid memory and the brain? The next block talks about vitamins and cognition. Block 6, vitamins B, B12, and cognitive function. Vitamin B12 is essential for neurological maintenance and the prevention of cognitive deficits. With age, B12 absorption can decrease, and foods rich in this vitamin become important. Cheese and B12. Many cheeses contain relevant amounts of B12. A regular portion can help preserve adequate levels, especially for those who consume little meat. Neuroprotective collaborations. Besides B12, the combination of proteins, calcium, and other micronutrients contributes to cerebral vascular health, essential for cognitive function. Signs to observe: fatigue, mild memory loss, tingling in the extremities can indicate B12 deficiency. Blood tests and medical monitoring are essential. Practice. including cheese in strategic snacks and preferring varieties with richer nutritional content, can be a simple and effective preventive action. What about oral health? Chewing and teeth influence food choices. Let's see how cheese can help. Block 7. Teeth, chewing, and the pleasure of eating. Maintaining healthy teeth and the ability to chew preserves pleasure and nutrition. Soft and shredded cheeses can be adapted to various oral needs. Saliva and dental protection. Cheese stimulates saliva production, which neutralizes acids and protects enamel. Calcium and phosphate present help in dental remineralization. Textures for every need. For those with dentures or chewing difficulties, creamy or spreadable cheeses are nutritious alternatives. For those with preserved dentition, firm cheeses stimulate chewing and oral muscle strengthening. Pleasure and sociability. Eating is more than nourishing the body. It feeds relationships. Sharing a cheese board safely and with appropriate portions can be a moment of joy that impacts emotional well-being. How to deal with lactose and intolerances. We explain practical solutions in the next block. Block 8, lactose, intolerance, and alternatives. Many seniors develop a greater intolerance to lactose over time. Cheese, however, varies. Some cheeses have little or no lactose. Naturally, low lactose cheeses. Cured cheeses like Parmesan, aged cheddar, and many aged cheeses have very low lactose levels and are better tolerated. Lactose-free options and alternatives. There are lactose-free processed cheeses and plant-based options for those who need to avoid dairy. Read labels and prefer products with a simple ingredient list. Inclusion strategies. Try small portions, choose more matured cheeses, and observe digestive response to identify individual tolerance. Practical health. In case of intense tolerance loss, seek guidance from a nutritionist to ensure alternative sources of calcium and protein. And in culinary practice? How about easy recipes and combinations? Let's cook with purpose in the next block. Block 9. Practical recipes and inclusion tips in the routine. Turning knowledge into habit is the most important step. Here are simple, safe, and tasty suggestions to include cheese every day. Nutritious breakfast. Slices of cheese with tomato and whole grain bread. Fresh cheese with honey and fruit. Omelette with white cheese and herbs. Smart snacks. Cheese cubes with grapes or nuts. Carrot sticks with light cheese spread. Crepioca with ricotta. Lunches and dinners. Salad with cheese shavings. Vegetable lasagna with low-fat cheese. Creamy soups finished with a touch of grated cheese. Portions and frequency. A standard portion can vary from 20 to 40 grams depending on the type of cheese. The practical rule. Food quality plus balance on the plate equals health. Prepare an extra portion to share with someone dear. Eating together nourishes body and soul. When can cheese be a risk? What precautions to take? The next block answers. Block 10, safety, drug interactions, and final recommendations. Safety is a priority. Some medications and conditions require attention when consuming dairy. Possible interactions. Certain antibiotics, osteoporosis medications, and iron supplements can interact with calcium and dairy. Follow medical guidance on consumption times. Risk of contamination. In immunocompromised seniors, avoid unpasteurized raw cheeses. Choose pasteurized products and proper storage. Portion control. For those with sodium restriction or caloric control needs, prefer low-salt cheeses and light versions, always considering satisfaction and taste. Monitoring. Regular blood tests, bone densitometry, and medication review help adjust cheese consumption safely. Practical closure. Visit the market with a list and awareness. Choose varied types, adjust portions, and celebrate the pleasure of eating well. Returning to the journey, we saw cheese as a source of calcium, protein, B-complex vitamins, probiotics, and pleasure. We saw its ability to protect bones, preserve muscles, support cognition, and strengthen social and emotional life. Practical synthesis. Small portions, conscious choice of cheese type, combination with vegetables and physical activity make cheese an ally, not an enemy. Moderation and personalization according to individual health are key. In the calm of the afternoons, a piece of cheese can be a symbol of care, with the body that carries us, with the memory that grounds us, and with the fellowship that sustains us. Eating well is an act of self-love. If this video helped you, share it with someone who needs these tips, and subscribe for more content that unites health and affection. Consult your doctor and nutritionist before making significant diet changes. Personalized adjustments ensure safety and effectiveness. Thank you for walking with us. Take care with kindness, savor life, and allow yourself small changes that make a big difference.